everyone, welcome to Living La Vita Loca podcast, a retro gaming podcast for some of your retro gaming needs. My name is Felicity Shagwell.
Nice. And I'm Rich.
I definitely see us as the best James Bond movie that's ever existed, the Austin Powers of podcasts. So I just thought I'd drop that in there.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's been any better or worse Bond girl names than that one. Well, I mean, I know there's worse Austin Power ones, but I'd probably be going a bit too far for that. So, we're going to do James Bond. James Bond. Wait, what was that?
Are you all right?
Yeah, that was Valentin Zukovsky from...
Was it? Was it?
Okay, right, I'm sorry. There's no way that Robbie Coltrane's Russian is any better and or worse than what that was.
Well, I mean, Robbie Coltrane had the benefit of context. Like, you knew he was going to be, a Russian dude because they were in Russia.
Because it's called Valentin Zukovsky.
And we knew his name. Whereas
my knee aches every day.
Okay, all right. But now I know now I know what to expect. You were Felicity Shagwell a second ago.
Yeah, sorry, this has started.
This is pinballing everywhere.
I know.
You got bondage on the brain.
We have. Yes, I have. We haven't done. You haven't done a James Bond pinball game, have we? I mean, I
don't think so.
There's got to be.
There
be a good one out
right.
there. Yeah,
surely.
How do you like James Bond?
How do I like my bonds?
How do you like your bonds?
How do I like my bonds in the morning? I like them. They are a bit of a guilty pleasure. Most bank holidays, I will be pushing to watch a Bond film.
Oh, okay.
For no reason.
What's that on a bank holiday right now? Have you pushed for a James Bond?
Funnily enough, this bank holiday I did not because I was playing this. But yeah, like most of the time. We hit a bank holiday and I'm like, bank holiday Bond.
Okay.
And like they're stupid, but I love to like hate watch them.
Yeah.
I really do. Like it's just so easy to imagine that he is the shit spy. And he's the distraction for a much better, more competent spy somewhere else. Yeah. Like someone else is actually doing the actual mission and they've just given him some bullshit to do.
Yeah, I'm the same. I love James Bond movies and some of the games for the exact same reasons. Like if you got just off the top of your head, like favorite movie that you would say out of all of them?
If I had to pick one, Man with the Golden Gun is up there.
Yeah.
The World Is Not Enough is up there, weirdly.
Yes,
like,
really?
I've got a real soft spot for that one. I think it's because it was the first one I saw like in the cinema.
Yeah.
So I just have a soft spot for it.
Who's Robert Carlyle? No, he does a bad foreign accent in that one.
Yeah.
I'm trying to I can't think of a quote from that one that I'm going to butcher, so I won't.
It's just that bit where he holds that really hot rock. Yeah. Because he's hard.
Yeah.
And yeah, like there's, it very much depends what mood I'm in. Like there will be different, like The Living Daylights is one that I will quite happily watch and then realise that it's as old as I am and then suddenly I feel terrible.
Yeah.
And you watch it and it's like, oh, this came out the same year as me. God, my joints hurt. So yeah, like it very much depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah. I'm a Goldfinger. GoldenEye, maybe.
As long as there's gold in it.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I love gold. Back to Austin Powers again. Yeah. But I do have a real soft spot for Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah, I get
that. And which I'll get into as I explain about Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Bond movies that have die in the title.
Yeah, and yet it's never about changing the colours of your clothes or anything like that.
Well, golden dye. No. That doesn't.
Golden dye.
Golden dye.
It must be a hairdresser's called that. Surely, you're telling me that no one's taken
Brosnan
that
goes
one.
to it now. Like
That's a sitter. It's right there.
He gets a blue rinse.
This is how we make our first millions. I'm telling you.
That's the real evil plan of
set up a hairdresser. Yeah, I can believe it.
I've got the bald head. I could be doing the Blofeld, like turn around in the seat and be like, "Welcome to Golden Dye." You've got a cat. Well, great.
Yeah,
guys, patent pending.
Very pending.
Yeah. I've picked a couple of James Bond movies, games. Ironically, one is a movie and one isn't. One's an original story. So I've picked Tomorrow Never Dies on the PlayStation 1 and Bloodstone on the Nintendo DS because I just happened to have it. So I thought,
why?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never played it. I think it came in like
find it in a cupboard or something.
It came in like a big bundle of like £1 DS sort of carts kicking. I think I got like 20 DS things. That is in when you go to a game market, and it was like honestly, it was like £17, and I was like, yeah, I'll just read them. And I just saw it the other day. I was like, I'm going to play at least 93 minutes of Bloodstone to talk about on the podcast.
Nice
for hopefully everyone's entertainment.
Yeah.
What have you?
I've got Everything or Nothing, which was quite enough. Thank you.
I've already pre-written a pun for the blurb. For
good. The script writers from this would love you for that.
I'm sure they would. Pierce Brosnan in that, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we've gone for a Brosnan / Daniel Craig combo, pretty much, because Daniel Craig's likeness is in Bloodstone, and I will get into that a little bit. But yeah, another one. I do think, actually, I've not mentioned it yet, but Casino Royale. I love Casino Royale. I really do enjoy that, and I hated how quickly all Daniel Craig movies seem to have crashed and burned after that. Pretty much, that is in there. I think a lot of people go, oh yeah, Skyfall, or oh yeah, I can't even remember the rest of them, Quantum of Solace and stuff. And I'm just like, I don't feel like I've seen a really good Bond movie since Casino Royale, which is a long time ago.
I don't know. I liked the big swings they took creatively with his last one.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I do, but then I like seeing a franchise experiment with an actual ending.
Yeah, well, yeah. To be fair, that is in that. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy. Was it Time to Die?
Yeah,
on the nose. But I didn't enjoy it that much. But I totally take on board that it's like, it's doing something different.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think I like what it's going for more than I like the film.
Yeah.
But again, it's another one of those ones that like I have a soft spot for because it was the first film I saw coming out of the pandemic.
Yes.
And stuff like that.
Very much was.
First time back in a cinema. And
I think that might have been. No, I saw Tenet. Tenet? Which is very much a Bond movie.
Bond-esque.
Time.
Bond adjacent cinematic experience.
Just before getting to the games then, touch a little bit on, we already have done this before when we had our Hitman podcast. We talked a little bit about First Light and maybe been excited about IO doing IOI. It's IOI. Yeah, IO Interactive doing a Bond game, which is the first Bond game since 007 Legends, I think 15, 16 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Like
it's
10 years?
Yeah. Oh, no, it's definitely, it's literally, when was it? 2012. So you're trying to say like 10 years, but what you mean is like 15 years.
Jeez.
So it's been a while since there's been a Bond game.
Yeah.
I think at the time we said we were quite excited by seeing the trailer, but the thing that we like the most about Hitman games is that they're like a farce. Of like,
yeah.
Do you think they'll maybe take it a bit serious with First Light and maybe lose the Hitman, fun? Or...
Honestly, I don't know. I think I saw a little bit about like reviews and previews and stuff like that starting to trickle out possibly earlier on today.
Yeah, maybe like today. Yeah,
yesterday. I've not looked at anything.
I've not looked at anything yet.
My hopes are still high that despite everything, it still has vast comic potential. Mm-hmm. I really hope it does.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, I think weirdly it could be funnier.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, if it was a bit too stoic. It was like, yeah, fair enough. I think I'm going to give it a month or so, and if it's stupendous and everyone else is playing it, I feel like it might be possibly the first time for this generation where I'm like, I'm going to buy a game at full price. Yeah, because I really want it.
I think it's pretty high on my it's on my wish list anyway. It's pretty high up in terms of priority Forza Horizon 6 is kind of up there as well.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be one or the other, and it's just a case of which one at some point, like once I'm back from holiday and all that kind of stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm
I almost bent on Game Pass again to go back to Forza Horizon 6, but so just been Slam Dunk Festival this weekend, and I met my friend Betty, who's been on the podcast a couple of times before, and I think he's already put like 24 hours into Forza Horizon 6.
Good work.
He's very much a Forza Horizon person.
Yeah.
And he was saying at the weekend that he funny enough, he's not quite found his groove with this setting yet, actually, and he preferred Australia. Like, as in, he said there was a bit more to the... And when you look around, like, I think a lot of people wanted the Japanese setting for this, so it's interesting. But I really did almost dip back into Game Pass, but I thought, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until Fable's out at the same time, and then go for just have like a month of Fable / Forza.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
Maybe James Bond will fill that void. No euphemism. So
wouldn't be the first void.
Anywho,
hi Mum, hi Dad.
Tomorrow Never Dies on the PlayStation 1, 1999. You might note that is 2 years after the release of the movie.
Yeah, that is a little bit late, isn't it?
A bit of a struggle to get this game out. And when it was out, this game was a bit of a struggle. So I played quite a significant amount of Tomorrow Never Dies when I was younger. I really enjoyed it as what would have been, I guess, 11/12-year-old. And I remember that I think I owned this. It was like one of the first DVDs I had. Like, as in, you know, DVD around the year 2000, like DVDs like £25. Like,
I had it recorded off telly.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Yeah, but that's a lot cheaper and better, probably.
I don't know. The adverts were not slotted in well.
So yeah, I liked the movie. You know, it's probably the Bond I've watched the most, I would say, actually. You know, a couple of the sort of... One of the quips from this one is, you always were a cunning linguist, James, from Moneypenny. And you're like, yeah, fair enough, that's cool. Yeah, well done you. Tip the cap to you. And I think there's one where he throws like a goon into the newspaper printing press, and he's like, oh, they'll print anything these days. And you're like, oh, fuck yeah.
Don't think he sounds quite that old. I don't print anything these days.
That was my piss. Anyway, sorry. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I will try next time I quote from Bond. But this movie did get me my only ever A star in GCSE.
Excellent.
In English literature. I assume it must would make sense.
What the rest of the sentences.
Yes. Yeah. In an essay in English literature, I think I got like 48 out of 52 and got an A star for writing about Tomorrow Never Dies.
Nice.
And being able to pull the themes out of it. So nice. Wonderful. Trying to pull the themes out of the PlayStation 1 game from 2 years later that is really shit is more difficult to do. I definitely remember this being a lot better. And then I thought about the timing of it as well, comparative to some of the games that were out at that time. The fact that they released this game after Metal Gear Solid and around about the same time as Siphon Filter. And I think about those games and what this game doesn't do compared to them. It's becomes more of an abomination almost in a way. So I kind of had a look on the back of the box because this is one I've got the actual box for, but it's the most complete Bond experience. Multiple game modes, which what they mean by multiple game modes is third person shooting, driving, and skiing. Is there that's their multiple skiing? Oh, we'll get to the skiing. Well, we can start with the skiing if you want. You use a variety of combat techniques: tuck and roll, dive and fire, and stealth attacks. All of those techniques are really, really horribly executed. They do a really poor job of doing nothing that Metal Gear Solid or Siphon Filter do. The controls, Bond moves like a tank. Like, not like Gabe Logan's swift hips, like, you know, like it's in sashaying around. You know, the movement is truly fucked. Trying to get up what looks like Lego sort of stairs and getting snagged on every part of the graphical nature of the environment. Trying to round a corner is impossible. for some reason, all of the hired goons move really well and roll around and dive out the way, and Bond, actual James fucking Bond, cannot move. It's so difficult. There are gadgets at play here, as there would be. Trying to access them is not difficult, but cumbersome.
Yeah.
Like, it's like Bond's like ratcheting around in his pockets, like, hold on, wait a minute, well, guys, don't shoot. You know, I've just got to get this fucking laser targeter out or whatever. So they've really, I guess, mapped them in an odd way. Not to make it a fluid third-person shooter at all, really. One of the three multiple game modes that is aped. I think there must be something that happened in development where they really honed in on the idea that they wanted this skiing part in it, and it was almost meant to be a point of difference. Oh, it's different, all right. It is.
I kind of get it, though.
But it's a real freak of nature. Like, as in, go on.
I get it. I get the thinking behind trying to put it in.
Yeah,
because you got GoldenEye, widely regarded as an important first-person shooting stepping stone. And you, like you say, you've got Siphon Filter, you've got Metal Gear Solid, you've got I can imagine that they were looking at that environment, that landscape, and going like, well, yeah, how do we stand out a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a skiing sequence. Let's do that.
Yeah, it's a bit. It does it so plot-wise. It follows the film, not beat for beat, but does a good job of following the film.
Yeah.
To the point where it actually puts in cutscenes. On certain cutscenes, it will, apart from the briefing pages, it will occasionally drop in cutscenes from the movie.
Okay.
It gets 1 mark for that. Well done so far.
Nice.
That is in because I Love Tomorrow Never Dies. A star. For English, James?
Nice.
Oh, fucking hell. I wrote that down and everything.
That was good.
I mean, it's a quote from GoldenEye.
No, I know. But definitely felt more off the cuff.
If
I'm being honest.
It wasn't. It's definitely here. It says, for English, James, no. For GCSE.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Right, brilliant. This is off to a flyer, just like this movie.
Are there many more of these jokes?
No.
Oh,
okay. I mean, geez. Let's hope not. Good Lord. So back to that skiing part then.
Yeah.
It's like the collision detection is awful. It's like a road rash-esque jabbing of your skiing sticks to knock people over.
It should happen at the Olympics more than it does. I'm just saying.
When
I'm with Bond on that one.
I mean, if only they moved like Olympians. It's like you could almost see the scan lines of everything happening. Like the slowdown of this happening it's truly horrendous.
In my head, he jabs someone with a skiing pole; they just explode.
I mean, the skiing pole could just be, I don't know, like a massive shard of lava. Imagine that, because graphically, that's all you can kind of see going on. They do this weird little sort of like tumble forwards when you hit them, and just sort of like it's just nothing works in it. Nothing works, and I guess the reason I was trying to say, they include this and unique experience and stuff. I imagine they worked really hard on that.
Yeah,
and it became the epitome of what was wrong with this game. Really, it doesn't do any of the things you'd expect of a James Bond game, of a third-person shooter. There's no cover. I know a cover shooter wasn't a thing by that point, but certainly you don't do any hiding around any corners or anything. You just stood in these barren, open environments and just kind of shooting at 3 or 4 people. There is a sniper rifle you can use, and actually that's probably the best part of the game in terms of actually setting that up and using it to take out somebody quite far away. But usually when that's happening, 3 or 4 enemies, they keep sort of generating every so often and turning up in trios, 2 of them down on the floor, 1 up at high, and the guys down the floor bothering you while you're like, well, I enjoyed the sniper rifle bit, but you guys have popped out of nowhere.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. While I just fumble around in my pockets again, please. You would think also for a game that sounds so derivative and straightforward, and linear, and only has like 3 objectives per level, that it'd be easy to find your way around, and it is, except there are no highlighting features to say where the next objective is. Like, you know, like no big red button, like press this next Bond. No, like, and even when you try to press a button, oh my god, it's so hard to operate a fucking lift in this game. Like, as in Bond, once again, fumbling in his pockets, I assume, smashing his head against a button just to get the lift to work. And it's just all these little things where you just think that they care enough for it to be a James Bond movie tie-in, but not enough to make it anything like a video game should be like in 1999. It plays more like what I imagine a video game was in 1984, for example. So it's probably more in that Roger Moore slot. Really.
So given how it plays and when it came out, does it feel like the sort of thing that they worked on for ages and then somebody was like, guys, enough of is enough?
But
like,
this is the thing, yeah.
Just release it.
Well,
like, we're done here.
I mean, imagine if they had released it a month later after The World Is Not Enough had released, like the movie.
Well, yeah.
So it's almost like it would have been probably a bit of an embarrassment to say we've been working on this game for 2 years and then we've missed the next movie.
I was going to say, because I think the N64 game of that came out in 1999.
Yes,
It's not enough.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Like these guys that developed this, they developed Knockout Kings, I think it was, and some EA basketball games, and then 2 Bond games, and I don't think they exist anymore. Black Ops Entertainment, I haven't heard from them anyway, but the delay on this game was seen in the fact that they removed multiplayer completely,
right?
And also, like, they should have had more levels than they had as well. So this rounds out at about 4.5 hours, I think it is, which, you know, might be there or there. But the thing is, like, I don't ever want to take flowers off games for that's probably about right there. But the fact that they ripped levels out because they was so far behind.
It sounds like they were set out pretty ambitious.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Because I mean, if you're sort of talking for an 8-hour game, that would be quite extensive probably back then. I mean, you can get through what Metal Gear Solid in like 4 hours probably, like is in, you know, there or thereabouts. Stealth Suit, 1.5 hours. What are the other annoying little things? No checkpoints, which you wouldn't expect necessarily in a game at this age, but certainly it was pissing me off because there was like one level where I think I'm in the Carver Media Centre. One of the worst, even though I love the movie, one of the worst villains, like, you know, like just Elliot Carver, what a prick. But you come out of an interrogation room and there are 3 enemies there with machine guns and you have no weapons. Now you can, I believe, even when I read the instructions that were in the manual, so it is there is melee to use, I couldn't get it to work. Like, and I don't think I need to get good Bond from 1999. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I'm sure I'm clearly not doing something properly here. And I think it was maybe a combination of not having the right gadgets out at the right time, and because that was difficult to do. You know, and it was little things like that where unless you looked at what gadgets you had in your pocket for that mission, you wouldn't know what to do next. Yeah. So that after the 4th mission, I was like, oh, I know I just need to look in my pocket what to do next, because actually that's the thing that will guide me, because I wouldn't have that gadget otherwise. But I was stuck on the first mission for ages, forgetting what I'd actually done. But I remember when I was younger thinking, I've cleared this entire level out. These enemies keep coming back because that's what they do. So I'm just wandering around this level for about 15, 20 minutes thinking, what do I do next? I've done everything I need to do. I've done all the other objectives.
Just to shell out for the official guide.
Yeah.
That's what
just like
do.
So.
Phone the hotline.
I genuinely had to Google what to do on the first level again. And I was like, oh shit, I've got to get this gadget out of my pocket and point it at that satellite over there.
Yeah.
But it doesn't tell you how to do that or do you know what I mean? Anywhere. And it's just, it's really annoying. The whole game is just really, really annoying. And I stuck with it all the way through, but it really sullied my love of Tomorrow Never Dies, and also my love of this game from when I was 12 years old. And I don't think that
usually it's me having this experience. It's kind of refreshing.
This is it really crushed me. This is one of these things where I like having a scale to score on, because that middle mark of I can recommend you can and can't go back to a game from, you know, I mean, it's 27 years later. But it's very easy to go. I can fully
They'd probably
recommend.
still be making it if they hadn't released it.
I can fully recommend you don't have to go back to this game and worry about it, basically. Out of the 34, 35 as of today or whatever James Bond games that have been released, this is not one that sticks in the memory long. And if it does, it's not for good reasons. So it's getting a good old-fashioned 2 out of 10 from me. One for putting in some movie cutscenes. And the other one, because the soundtrack does kind of slap a little bit. Like, they do a really good job of... Like, the music in this is probably the thing they do the best job of. I at least felt like I was James Bond. Like, as in...
when you get stuck on staircases.
Yeah, I didn't look like James Bond. And I didn't feel like, movement-wise, I was James Bond. But, you know...
But apart from that...
They make him sound like Pierce Brosnan getting shot by a bullet. You know, every so often, it's like, so, you know, he's like, oh, like, you know.
How is that your best impression yet?
Because I've played this game too many times, clearly. So yeah, disappointing to say the least.
Oh dear.
It's funny because some people I've spoken to on Instagram are like, oh, well, you play this Bond, or you're going to play this Bond, or it's a shame you not played this Bond. And I'm like, no, I played this one. It's just like, so how about you?
How about me? Yeah, everything or nothing. So fast forward 2004. So what, whole 5 years difference?
Yeah, no, Tomorrow Never Dies is still getting made. It's just like...
So yeah, this was over on the GameCube. And do you remember when you said which one am I going to play?
Yes.
Full disclosure, I've got a few kicking around, right? So I nearly went with Nightfire. I nearly went with The World Is Not Enough.
That's like, yeah, Nightfire's, everyone's like, Nightfire's amazing.
Nightfire is amazing. I've got some really fond memories of playing that. I nearly went with Bloodstone on the PS3.
Yes.
Very nearly, actually. And then I went with this because the fucking theme tune got stuck in my head.
I've never played it, so
literally
I don't know.
And it's not even the whole of the theme tune. It's just the chorus from the theme tune just burrowed its way into my skull. And to this day, still periodically pops up. It's playing right now.
Do you happen? Is it a famous artist that's
Maya?
Oh,
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. She's
maybe.
in the game as well. She's been crowbarred into the game.
Yeah.
I would struggle to tell you anything about her.
Yeah.
So you know how Die Another Day, right? Pierce Brosnan's last Bond film.
Yeah.
And it was, I think we can all agree, shite.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of enjoyed going back. In fact, that was our last bank holiday Bond. Was Die Another Day. I said to my wife, like, it's going to be awful, but can we watch it? Because it's been so long. I kind of have a soft spot for just how shit it is. Even though, like, it's clearly trying to, because it was an anniversary year or something, like trying to hit a lot of tropes and beats and have a lot of callbacks. Like, I kind of see what it's trying to do. I do not think the execution is good in any way, shape, or form. But if we're talking about hate watching a Bond film, it's a good one to hate watch.
Yes.
It gives you a lot of fodder.
A hate watch.
Yeah, yeah.
I remember. Sorry, just before you start, like, Die Another Day. I remember that was the first time I ever missed the start of a movie in the cinema because the queue was so long, and we're in like a proper. I think the View Cinema had just come to Carlisle, and I was still in the old local cinema. He used to queue up the stairs, and I got in, and it was the point where he just kind of cleared out, I think, No Man's Land or something in a tank or something, and I was like, oh, I've missed an opening of a Bond, and I was and then
missed 2/3 of the best bit of the film.
This is it. And then I never saw that again because obviously again it wasn't as you'd have to go down, you know, Blockbuster or Global Video or whatever. But the rest of the movie was so shit. I never saw the start of Die Another Day for like 20 years. Like, is it, you know, until like very recently, because I was like, oh shit, I've just never seen a part of this movie, and I was like, oh, that was okay, that bit, until Madonna starts, and then after that it goes.
That is a very convenient segue. Thank you. So, like, that Madonna song is somehow a low point in a film of low points.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing is really not great. So when I I think it might be Wikipedia or something like that, have this build as like a continuation of Die Another Day. I was like, fuck it, Doug. How bad's this going to be? So
I'm all in.
Well, credit where credit's due. I think this is better than Die Another Day. Also, credit where credit's due. They have Pierce Brosnan doing Pierce Brosnan's voice.
Yes.
They have John Cleese. That like these are the last times these people played these characters officially in like a new adventure for the fucking like GameCube and PS2 and stuff. Like it's pretty mind blowing, right? So yeah, third person action adventure thing with driving levels, an actual cover system and stuff like that. It is clunky. It is very clunky, but it's there.
But you're not just stood in the middle of nowhere. Like,
well,
it's
you
getting
are if you
shot
like play it. Like the number, like I found it was either the controls or the kind of the fiddliness of the actions. It's one or the other or both. Just meant that like where I was occasionally trying to like quickly target an enemy. And like get behind cover and stuff like that, I would end up just spinning on the spot, spraying bullets randomly. Which I'm pretty sure I've never seen Bond do in a film. I mean, it's done similar. But either way, it was definitely, and this is what, to come back to your question earlier on about IO Interactive's Bond game and whether or not that will still be a comedy of errors. Like if I play anything like this, it will be. So in that respect,
it's like grenade gone.
Super hyped.
Dropped in my pants.
So yeah, it's trying to emulate a film. To put it bluntly, and for the most part, like it kind of does a good job. It looks the part, especially if you look at it as that sort of Die Another Day era. Like the menus all like look right. Yeah, they've got the kind of right fonts. Don't get me wrong, I don't like them, but they look right.
Even the cover of the game.
Like, it looks right. You can see like they put a lot of time and effort into the kind of production side of things. They did not put much time and effort into the script. I think they took the idea of, what was it they say in The Simpsons? Like the cool, dry wit. Like that way that Bond operates. They seem to have just thought that equates to constantly punning. Like every opportunity, and I do mean every opportunity. And it does not matter.
A man after my own heart.
It does not matter how laboured the pun is. It's in there. Like, and there are a couple of bits where you hear what Pierce Brosnan of all people is having to read out, and you're like, that doesn't even fucking make sense. That makes literally no sense.
Read the line, Pierce.
It makes no sense. I can't tell if Brosnan is bored or tired. I suspect both.
He does a good bored, tired.
Bored voice. But there's like relaxed and laid back and calm and collected, and there is fucking checked out because like. I could just imagine that some of these puns are so laboured, if he had to do multiple reads of them for whatever reason, I could see how the fatigue would set in, you know? But it is not a good script. But they do try and hit those kind of Bond-esque beats. Like, Willem Dafoe's in here as the baddie.
Well, there we go. Like, is it? Do they capture? Get some facial capture on?
It's him doing his voice. So it's not necessarily. I mean, it's the GameCube. Facial capture is optimistic.
But that would be terrifying, wouldn't it? Surely, like Willem Dafoe's like face, like somehow captured on the GameCube, would be a true villain. But
even seeing him in there, you're like, fuck. Why has he not been in a movie? Why didn't we just like? How's no one just gone? Well, yeah, that could work, and just done that. The problem with this, though, is plot-wise, they link it back to A View to a Kill.
Oh, really?
Of all things. Okay. Like, he's Max Zorin's, you know, Christopher Walken's character's protege or something like that.
Oh, I wanted son.
But that's the thing. Like, it's right there. You know, like,
Why are we not doing that right? Is it? I think like Willem Dafoe's the bad guy in Speed 2. And this is what this feels like. I feel like you're talking about like Speed 2. It's like a James Bond movie-esque.
Yeah, I get it. It's one of those things that as soon as you see it, like, fuck me, that casting is incredible.
Yeah.
How have I not thought of this before? Like, it totally makes sense. And like, somehow stuff it up. His plot is bollocks.
Oh.
Frankly. Like, it involves platinum, and that leads to Pierce Brosnan uttering a line, something along the lines of, that's a platinum idea. It's like, that doesn't mean anything. There's something involving metal eating other metal or nanobots eating metal.
Oh, brilliant. Wonderful.
Jaws is there for reasons.
Okay.
Just, again,
crowbarred in. Isn't he in space with his
I thought he was. He's back. Driving a tank around New Orleans. I just... Yeah, it's for every Bond like bit they hit and nail, there's like 3 or 4 where they're just like, let's do this thing because it'll be cool.
Yeah,
and like no one went, fucking dial it back.
Yeah.
Like this is just stupid now. So it kind of it's if it were a Bond film, I seriously doubt they would have released it. You know, like it's borderline parody.
Yeah.
But like
never say never again.
Yes, it is that sort of neck of the woods, and it's like I appreciate them trying, but like it feels like a swing and a miss in terms of like being a complete kind of package homage to the character, the universe, what have you. But you can absolutely see what they were going for. And yeah, the gameplay doesn't do many favors for it. So it's functional. It does broadly work, but there are times when it'll be fiddly or there'll just be like odd little quirks where, say, you get like a Bond sense type thing, but you only get that when you're going through your inventory. So the idea is that, like, say you're trying to shoot a set of barrels on the other side of a chasm, you wouldn't be able to necessarily target them
traditionally.
Normally.
Yeah.
And it's just a lock-on system for normal enemies in this, so you wouldn't necessarily be able to lock onto the barrels. But if you went into your inventory, saw a little like red pulsing circle, you could press the fire button to look at it, to register what it is, and then when you're back in the game proper, you can then target it and shoot it. And it's things like that where it's like, I see what you're doing, because that's Bond scanning his setting and coming up with a plan on the fly, but it just feels clunky.
Yeah.
And it's that thing again, where it's like, you're so close to something really, really good here. And you've got like a lot of the game involves rappelling up and down various surfaces, and there's one level early on where basically the entirety of it is going up and down a set of mine shafts. You're like, okay, well, now we've done this, what are you going to do with it? And it turns out not a lot. And there's a spider drone which you can use to go and explode panels on the other side of like laser fences, or weirdly you can send your spider drone off, and if it walks over some armor, you get the armor, so it like teleports armor back to you, I guess.
Yeah.
Or something.
Who made this? Because it sounds
no, Q made it.
No, I meant the game, but okay, also Q. Isn't like just because it sounds like a spider drone, Bond Spidey sense. This isn't an Activision game, is it?
No, it's EA.
Oh, right.
It's EA.
But did they just spam some stuff off 2004's Spider-Man 2?
Now you mention it.
No, it's like,
if you're talking movie
Willem
tie-ins,
Dafoe,
yeah, the evidence is really piling up, isn't it? But yeah, like, so you add in as well, like, this kind of illusion of stealth, where, like, there was one mission, and granted, I was playing everything on the easiest setting that I could when I could remember to toggle it before I went into the game and not play it on normal by accident.
Yeah.
But, like, I was just like, okay, that's fine. Like, stealth mission, not too worried about that. Go in, like, fucking hell. It is not mucking around. And Judi Dench, bless her, is like, remember, be stealthy. And then, like, within 30 seconds, I'm sleep darting as many people as I can with a particularly noisy dart gun. But, like,
does it fail state, or like if you get...
Well, certain levels do.
Yeah.
There are other ones where, like, it'll at least give you the option of stealth, like taking out a few people quietly before you go loud.
Okay.
It seems to be the way it generally goes.
Yeah.
Like, rather than actually being able to complete a level stealthily, it would be you could take out a couple of people and then shit's going to hit the fan. I think if you were really good at the game, you probably could complete some of these levels completely stealthily. You know, you've got a melee system, you can do takedowns from behind, and you've got stealth darts and all that kind of stuff. So, like, it gives you the tools to do it. But, like, if you are making a step forward and you are not crouched, like, people are hearing you from, like, several blocks away. You know, you could be crouched down somewhere in South America and someone in Cuba is going to hear you. And, you know, it's that sort of thing where whenever I was trying to engage with the stealthy side of it, it was just frustrating. Whenever I was ignoring that and going in guns blazing and fists swinging as much as I could, it clicked much better for me.
Yeah, okay.
That probably tells you more about me than the game.
But I don't know, when you say that though, like, as in, because all these things spin through my head when you're speaking about it, I was like, oh, that sounds like, 2004, you're talking about like getting into Splinter Cell sort of 2 or 3 territory at that time and stuff. And I'm like, so how does the stealth feel like versus those games? And I know, for example, when I said about Chaos Theory and, like on the Xbox looked incredible, but, PS2 looked like shit and stuff. But like the core gameplay mechanic of being Sam Fisher and doing that stealth, that is in, does this get to that level, like in terms of like, is in, like obviously I know not all the gadgets and stuff, but that is in,
not even close.
No, so therefore you kind of reduce down to the windmilling and shooting because it probably that's more what I'd say that's more what EA would do. Like,
like stealth didn't feel like it was a rewarding experience, and I didn't feel particularly incentivized to try. It was frustrating, and it feels like the illusion of an option rather than being a viable option. So to have a mission that has a fail state attached to you being stealthy feels like a shot in the pills. And I very nearly tapped out there, but I went back to it and did manage to make some headway.
Okay.
In fact, this is I've got it written down here as that stealth mission: the darts, the brawls, the running, the rooting, and I did have to root it like a shmup. The conga line of bad guys at the end as I got to the goal, brilliantly. Like, this was one where I had to take the identity of a race car driver to enter a race in order to get an invite to the big bad's house for dinner.
Wait a minute,
where it turns out he knew that I was Bond anyway. So the whole thing was utterly pointless, and I could have just walked in. But the end of this mission was you going into the race driver's room and stealing a suit, right? A racing suit. And, the cutscene is you zipping it up and all that kind of stuff. But just before that, I managed to spin the camera around, and because I'd set off all of the fucking alarms, but, like, crucially, had alerted all of the guards, but not actually let them run to the alarm button that would cause the fail state. I had about 12 of them follow me into this race car driver's room, and then the cutscene just kicks in, and I'm like, yep, done. And at one point, you have to, like, disable a laser grid ahead of that by taking out a junction box. And kind of like you were saying about yours, there's no, like, it sounds like they're signposted better in this, but there's no, like, big flashing, like, an arrow above the thing you need to interact with or anything like that. Even on, like, the easiest difficulty, you had John Cleese saying, you have to take out the junction box. And, like, if I'm 12 and I'm playing this, how the fuck am I going to know what a junction box is, John? Hashtag not my cue.
Use your spiderweb, spidey senses tingling.
I mean, that's basically what it boiled down to. So there's a lot of things like that where it's just kind of frustrating.
I never wore John Cleese's cue. I can't. No, I love John Cleese, but as cute, I was. Oh man, that just
didn't work.
Fucked me off big time.
You have driving lessons. Driving levels. They are fine. There's a bit of a mix between, like, point-to-point racing, I guess, for want of a better word. Getting to places against a time limit while people shoot at you. The levels generally seem to be a little bit more, I hesitate to say open, but, like, expansive. It's not like you're just on a road. You do quite often have options or, like, different routes you can take and all that kind of stuff. Problem is that so often the time limits are so strict for, like, anything. My wife was watching me play quite a few of these bits and was like, there is no give in this game, is there? And this is exactly
James
right.
Bond, mate, crack
that's
on.
It. Like, being James Bond, but if you're in a video game and the difference between you completing and failing a mission is whether or not you've hit, like, a cart just right to jump over a barricade, it's kind of a pisser. And I don't mean, like, whether or not you have got onto the cart to jump versus you ramming into the side and coming to a dead halt. I mean whether or not you have gone perfectly straight down the middle of the cart, or whether or not you've gone to one side so you've scraped along the side of it with your wing mirror a bit and slowed down just enough that you can't get to the plane before it gets to the end of the runway. That's the difference. Those margins are fine.
Do you know what? Another game around about that time that did all that, and this is why people were pissed off with it, Driver 3. Driver 3 was exactly the same fucking thing with all the missions, obviously driving missions. everything was that little thing where it's like you clip a fucking wing mirror and it'd just be end of mission.
That's
and
it, yeah.
It just fucks people off. Like it's not a fun video game mechanic.
Yeah, and again, even on the easiest difficulty levels, it's not like it was giving you a bit more time, or if it was, it wasn't much more to do this stuff. So yeah, again, kind of frustrating. Also, James Bond, right? You think of the great Bond cars, you go for Aston Martins, right? Maybe if it's Pierce Brosnan era, Tomorrow Never Dies had a BMW, right? I mean, it's not exactly the sexiest car in the world, but that sequence with the remote control, that was fun, right?
That was fun.
You do not think of a Porsche Cayenne.
No.
Well, and yet, this one's got rocket launcher on. It's awful. It's just like, why are you trying to sell me that as a Bond car?
Is that one of the saloons that you
Is
probably
one
could
of the,
put
a
lurcher in?
Inflated SUV? It's like, really? Really? Really?
How much money do you think they got off Porsche?
Is
it all of the budget for the game?
Granted, in Casino Royale, he drove a Ford Focus, did he not?
Yeah.
But for one shot.
Yeah.
So they're okay, fine, blink and you miss it. That's fine. I've eaten a couple of bits of popcorn. I've already forgotten it. But this, at least you see it get blown up at one point, so that's fun. And also you have a Triumph motorbike with rocket launchers and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. That's kind of a fun twist. And Aston Martin does pop up eventually, but it does kind of feel like you've got to earn it, weirdly. But yeah, it's strange, the sort of the licensing situation that it's got. Because I guess if you've rented the game for a weekend or whatever, there's a decent chance that you're only going to see the Porsche or whatever.
Yeah.
And you saying about how much they got off it or whatever, you do wonder if there was an element of well,
this goes in first.
Yeah, exactly. Like when it pops up in the game. You do have a multiplayer component in it. Co-op and race and a couple of other modes. Okay. I asked my wife if she wanted to play it. She said, no, this game looks awful, and we spoke of it no more.
We fell out about it.
Well, I mean, it's...
Play the game. Have the Porsche.
It's so close to being great. But by so close, those bits that do fail, really detract from it for me. There are plenty of people out there that reckon this is, up there in Bond game terms. This is one of the greats. I can see why, particularly if you got nostalgia for it and you were there and you kind of got the muscle memory of playing it.
Yeah, okay.
I can kind of see why it would be, you would hold it in higher regard. But coming into it in 2026 with very little patience, frankly, I think is a bit of a harder sell. I can see why, in terms of the production and the kind of third-person drivey, shooty bits, it feels like it sets a bit of a blueprint for how they can do it, but feels like the kind of thing that you can build on rather than is a kind of hitting a pinnacle of its own. And I think for me, the bit that summed all this up was there was one particular mission after the one that I said about where you're going up and down and rappelling a lot. You have to, one of the Bond girls gets thrown off a cliff and you have to jump after her, catch her. You got your rappel, so it's going to be fine.
You'll be fine.
But you have to you play this half level bit where Bond is falling down a cliff that seems to last quite a long time, shooting people as he goes, while also moving left and right. He's sort of splayed out like he's skydiving,
like Spider-Man,
and you're controlling his movement left, right, up, down to avoid outcroppings and things like that. And the idea is that you would catch up to her, grab her,
spray out some white goo.
Yeah, exactly. In the cutscene,
repel,
and
make a
that would be that. I failed that mission so many times because I would be getting so close to her at the end, but a third of the way from the floor, it would just go, nope, you haven't reached her in time for the cutscene to kick in. You failed. I was routing it. I was rerouting it. I looked up a route. I was like, I am doing the route the guide says.
Yeah.
Before I worked it out myself. It was like, okay, I'm doing the optimal route. What am I missing? Am I shooting too many people? Am I not shooting enough people? Am I shooting enough barrels? Am I not? Looking at all that, trying to work it out, and then I finally fucking found it. And you know what it was? During the cutscene where she gets thrown off the cliff, hold down up.
Okay.
And therefore, Bond is, in the game's logic, moving forward slightly during cutscene.
Yeah.
So you start the level.
What? That is insane.
With your automated run, you start the level a few steps ahead of where you otherwise would.
Wow.
And that means that you can catch her. And I did it first time after that. And I was like, you know what? That is the perfect example of this game being like so close in so many respects to what a Bond thing would involve, and yet having that fucking giant clunky gotcha moment.
So broken for the user, basically.
Yeah, and that's it. You do wonder if they went back and remade it, right? That's the kind of shit that gets ironed out.
Yeah.
Same as like the Bond vision and finding the kind of cool Bond moments that you can do. You know, they're all there, but like they're just handled in such a haphazard, clunky, ham-fisted manner that it's really, really difficult to invest in it. And truth be told, I'm about 3 or 4 missions away from the end. It's just getting to the you know, heart-pounding finale, and I was like, you know what? I'm done, and when we do the next free play, I will talk about the thing that I played instead of finishing this, because I had a definite moment this weekend where I'm like, I could push through, like I can do it, I can finish it,
but I'm going to watch Die Another Day instead.
But I kind of can't be bothered. So yeah, it's so nearly good, but like there were just too many little things that just wound me up.
Yeah,
and it's the benefit of, like, I've been spoiled by, you know, third-person action-adventure games and stuff like that since, and I make no bones about it. It's definitely a me thing, not an it thing. If you were there at the time, like, yeah, I get it. But going in cold, like, it just, yeah, it was very much of its time, I think, is fair to say. So I was going to give it a 6, but now I've talked about it, I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay.
Because, like, I don't know. I mean, if you're having to hold down in a cutscene, if you're having to hold down up rather in a cutscene in order to actually like complete a level, maybe that is broken. Maybe it should be a 4.
I think it sounds like it's worse than that. Certainly,
you reckon?
No. So as in like worse than a 5. I think a 4 sounds probably around about right. Because that's the kind of game for me that we give scores to, where I go, there are moments. There are moments.
There are moments.
But a lot of the things that you referred to were stuff that was just pissing you off, basically, as a user, and it's just, and when that starts to tip over, and you give such a good example of, this was the moment when it really fucked me off, and I'm like, yeah, no, okay. So there are moments, but there are probably more moments that are bad moments than the.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think it's not like it's left me with a bad taste or anything like that. And I do see the positives. But like, I'm not going to be racing to finish it or way back in. Like if it was easier to just control, if it was more accommodating, different story.
Yeah.
But like, it just didn't feel like it was willing to meet me halfway.
Yeah. And that's it for me. That isn't. I think that a game, any video game that feels like it's at least trying to be in actual entertainment through you enjoying actually doing it. Fair enough. That is in. It nearly always end up being a 5 or above for me. That is in. But there are games out there that almost seem to actively work against you because they've not been made well enough.
I mean, I think in its defense, because I just spotted out the corner of my eye there, Bloodstone, right, on the PS3.
Perfect segue.
As a good segue, I can pick that up and play it because, like, I know what I'm in for with third-person action adventure, shooty control type things. It's kind of been codified, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I get the impression that with Everything or Nothing, it hadn't, or at least not to the same extent. No. It's not like it was as standardized. Like you could go into something like Bloodstone and you could probably guess the controls without really thinking about it, right? Whereas Everything or Nothing, I think they were still trying to work that out. So I absolutely see.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I see Everything or Nothing as part of that stepping stone and that process. But to go back to it now, it's just a little bit too clunky and a bit too unwieldy.
Yeah. Fair enough, and that's the thing. You feel like you've maybe been a bit harsh because you're like, well, there wasn't an industry standard for what the controls are, etc. But eventually there were games that became the industry standard, and it's just like, so someone found a way, and therefore...
Well, yeah, we figured it out, didn't we? Yeah.
So how much Bloodstone have you played before?
Not a heck of a lot. I don't know in terms of, have I played a quarter of it, a third of it? I'm not sure, but I've got, like maybe a couple of hours of it.
Yeah, fair enough. Which is probably as much as I've got. I mean, the DS game, I believe, only lasts, again, much like Tomorrow Never Dies, only about 5 hours. So
right.
I thought I'd just take it for a quick spin, just to kind of, like I said, it was there. So, and I also wanted to see what a handheld Bond felt like, because I have played From Russia with Love on the PSP before and quite enjoyed it, but that was one of those games that was missing the stick. That is missing the second stick. Because I played that on the PS2 and really enjoyed that. And again, that I almost played that for this, but I thought, oh no, well, I'll just try something different. So this is 2010, actually one of the later releases than Bloodstone in general. So PS3, as you alluded to, Xbox 360, PC, and then all of a sudden it was ported to the, Nintendo DS. I would have thought it'd be maybe more of a PSP style of game, but the people who ported it, might be why, they're called N-Space now, which just sounds like a really fucking generic 90s music.
Or like a Nintendo fan site.
Yeah, absolutely. They had, so they originated as Lockheed Martin engineers. So, people that make the weaponry that Bond would use in real life.
That's weird.
And then made some James Bond games. That is also, at least, so this... the other games that they have in their repertoire, Duke Nukem, Land of the Babes, Die Hard Trilogy 2, Viva Las Vegas, Winx, the fairy game for DS, Mary, Kate and Ashley games on the NDS as well, and then the Bloodstone NDS port. It just, how proud would your parents be if you said, I'm an aerospace, and I mean, maybe this is why, and a weapons developer, if you will. And now I make Mary, Kate and Ashley games for...
I mean, you give that list, like, Bloodstone almost sounds like they're going back to their roots.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's a third-person shooter, much like the home console versions. You move Bond with a D-pad.
Yep.
And you move the reticle with your little pencil on your screen. And you fire your weapon with your shoulder buttons.
Right.
There's also an action button on the touchpad that you can use to get into cover, or you can use for melee, or you can use to reload your weapon as well. They don't tend to use the other buttons too much. It was almost like a lot of touchpad
run
control.
Out of digits.
Yeah. It weirdly enough, it's a little bit of a cover shooter, actually. Like, is in so much that it advises you should be in cover.
Because otherwise you can't play this game properly.
And shoot
run out of hands.
And all of a sudden... you realise that actually it's really easy to play when you are in cover, because actually you can be in cover and shoot the enemies, but the enemies can't shoot you at all. You can just dip out and go, yeah, fuck off. So there is some close quarter combat, in so much that an enemy will run at you and then you just literally tap a directional button on the D-pad and you break their neck. That is in that. So it's almost like just tap that button at the right time and they're deaded. So it's that. And another little mechanic that sort of was quite funny. I don't know if it was like this actually in the main game, but certainly in this version, you replenish health much like the Getaway, where you just literally just lean against the fucking lean on the fucking wall, just wait for your
classic.
Yeah, just wait for your health to go back up. You're like, yeah, I'm good. Let's go. You can see how this almost becomes this like. I'm thinking of like for some reason it brings to mind the Nokia N-Gage, like this.
Yeah,
like
I get that.
It looks like a Nokia N-Gage game, and it certainly graphically looks like that as well. So you've got Daniel Craig and his likeness, and I think it's his voice, although it sounds a bit off. I'm not going to do Daniel Craig because not that I could do any of the others either, but I just can't think of it.
What would he say?
Well, that quote from Casino Royale that I never quite get, where it's like, what's the villain say? I can't remember, but then he goes, yes, considerably, like at the end.
About getting easier to kill people.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but then it can't lay it. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I never really quite That's never really worked with me. Do you know
It's
what
not
I mean?
really a catchphrase, though,
Yeah,
is it?
no.
Oh, we've got
like,
to work out all the ways we can make him say yes considerably.
Well, I'm thinking more about like Bond and Casino Royale with this because so Judi Dench is in this, and her likeness is more like Judi Dench, which might be a damning indictment on how much Judi Dench looks like in the DS graphics. I don't know. And the Bond girl slash, also not Bond girl, but as is the trope with Daniel Craig movies at this point, like is in a lot of the Bond girls, and rightly so. Like obviously, it's started to become a different era, and it's not just about them being a bit of totty for Bond to go after. A lot of them are handy agents and double agents and things. And Joss Stone is the Bond girl in this. Bloodstone, Joss Stone. I wonder if they had to they were like, we're going to give half the title of this game to you as a
bloody Joss Stone
to be the Bond girl. So yeah, I was quite intrigued in that. It does look like absolute a dog's dinner on the DS. Like it looks like PS1 graphics in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I was coming back to. I don't know why this came to mind, and I'm really sorry about this, but I was like thinking about how like Bond's balls must look after the torture scene in Casino Royale with that rope, and I'm like, this is what that must look like afterwards. Just a real casserole down there, like as in, I did, and then I just couldn't stop thinking about it afterwards because I was a bit like, as in, but he just goes back to being okay after that, right?
Basically.
Yeah, but everybody in real life, much like this game, where he just leans against the wall and he's fine. Like in Casino Royale, just leans against the wall for a few months and he's fine. And it's like, well, no. So actually, it's not that far away from being Bond. He just leans against the wall and he's okay after the beating that he takes. But it does look like
it's actually making me wince a little bit thinking about his mashed balls.
Honestly, this game looks like his mashed balls.
Oh.
So somehow it's an original Bond story, but entirely unoriginal.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Just that international subterfuge, just general
Bond by numbers.
Yeah, just general spy cack. Like it's just like it really is in that Quantum of Solace wheelhouse.
Someone I knew at university used to refer to it as quantum of bollocks, and I've never been able to shake it.
Brilliant. Just like the platinum out of everything and nothing. The water tables.
That was quantum of bollocks.
Yeah, very much so. It just, I don't know, like all that stuff is fine. Like, as in, and when I say fine, like the bottom end of fine. Like, it's in, when your wife's really angry with you and she says fine, and it's not fine. It's kind of that kind of fine.
Definitely not fine.
It's okay. Like, I was surprised to see that a lot of the DS reviews were quite positive versus the home console games. Actually,
that's interesting.
And then I was thinking about what is a level playing field for a handheld, because to me, this is better than Tomorrow Never Dies, but it is 11 years removed, and it has its own port on the console to work from.
Yeah,
but it's like one mark better than Tomorrow Never Dies. It's still like, for me now, playing it today, I'm like, I'm shocked to see how good the reviews were at the time, and almost a bit like everybody just kind of going, oh, it's James Bond on a DS, so therefore good marks. You've managed to get it on there, and I'm like, yeah, but it's not great, and it the touch controls work better than you would expect, but you're very much limited to what you can do. Even though you get machine guns, it feels like you're always struggling to do that because you've kind of got to reach for the shoulder button whilst you've got a pencil in one hand, and it's a bit cramped trying to do that. And obviously, like I say, graphically not great. There's a very early level where you're on a boat and it's almost like a boat chase, and that's where it acts like a cover shooter. So if you try and play it without going into cover whilst you're driving this boat and also shooting this gun, James Bond, then you will die very quickly. Whereas like if you just stay in cover the entire time, don't actually kill anybody, don't do any shooting whatsoever, then you just get to the next bit of the level. It's like almost like you don't have to do, and it just none of it feels very well thought out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that was still better than what I experienced in Tomorrow Never Dies. Like, isn't it almost like you can still see how there is a through thread of this being a James Bond game. And after playing 2 hours of it, I was like, I probably would finish this if if I could be bothered. I just can't be arsed, really. It wasn't anything that really made me feel sick to the stomach, but it also wasn't something that inspired me at all. And I can't recommend this version of it in this day and age to say, oh, go back and play the Nintendo.
Go find this.
Go see. So I mean, I'm not going to spoil the game. I'm not going to spoil it, but Joss Stone is like kind of like a secret agent, sort of like blah blah blah, and she kind of just dies at one point, and I felt a bit like, yeah, you rest, because I feel like just doing the same, really, pretty much. Like, everyone just go and sleep on this game, and we don't have to worry about it again. First Light's out real soon. Think about the new Bond rather than this old Bond.
Look to the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't hate it, but it is marginally better than Tomorrow Never Dies. So 3 out of 10 for this. I do think that there's a bit of an era of probably around about sort of 2010, where you can see where they were just struggling with Bond almost in a way with the movies. Even, and I know obviously I said I was a little bit, even though I like Daniel Craig as James Bond and I absolutely love Casino Royale, certainly that time Skyfall's good-ish, but very much playing, we've got the Olympic suit and all that kind of jazz, that they're playing those kind of numbers and stuff, and very much like that was like the British Bond, like the love story to being, was it Bond was 50? I think Bond, it was 50 years of Bond, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
Yeah, Dr. No is 62, I think. So it just, that felt like everything was almost an homage to everything Bond had ever been. But as a concept, I wasn't necessarily massively bowled over with that. And then certainly I can't remember what the next one was with Blofeld or whatever. Like, a lot of that time around Bond felt like a bit of a waste to me, and it feels like to not have had a movie for so long, and it's been like 5 years now, I guess, really, since Time to Die, and then also to not have a video game for so long. I think there's a lot on First Light's shoulders as a James Bond piece of media to do something great with it. I don't think James Bond won't die. Amazon have bought it for fucking billions or whatever.
Yeah, they'll do something with it.
But I just feel like we're ripe for something good to come along in the James Bond universe.
I think the reason why I'm excited about First Light is it's a chance to do something different.
Yeah,
with it, and wasn't there that James Bond Junior cartoon or something like that back in the day? So in my head, I've kind of made First Light like the James Bond Junior kind of game.
Yeah.
And so that sort of thing. I think it's a good chance to really look at the franchise and go okay, well, what creative directions we could go in, and then presumably Amazon will be like, no, we need to go with what we know, and we'll end up with the same old bollocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, good vast potential there.
Yeah. I've just thought, actually, there was a James Bond mobile game came out a couple of years ago, so I've completely overlooked that, and that was one that's been in the dearth of the era. But yeah, hopefully, I look forward to it. I haven't got any good quotes to finish up on, I don't think, that I can think of that maybe do I go with a gold finger? It was just you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die!
Christ.
Bye.